friends, and welcome back once again to Brotherhood of the Bat Collectibles. My name's Chris and I'm the Batman statue collector right here on YouTube. And look at what we have today. We have the incredible 1/3 scale Knightfall Batman, 1/3 scale Azrael from our friends at Prime One Studio. This was a piece that I never ever thought would be in the Batcave, quite simply because I didn't want it. I did not want this piece when it first came out, but then I saw in-hand photos, I saw videos, and I'm like, damn, this thing is actually pretty damn impressive. I have to see it. I have to judge for myself. And it really has a place in the Batcave. I feel like right now, if you've been watching the channel, you guys know that I have been wanting different. I've been wanting something unique in the Batcave, pieces that stand out, and this is certainly one of those pieces. This, of course, that I'm looking at right now is the EX. It is incredibly impressive. It has this incredible cape that you can pose. It's bright, it's blue, but then there's all this amazing yellow and blue armor, which is absolutely incredible. And again, what we're looking at right here is the exclusive. And again, it's just this, I can't really describe how big it is. It is a massive presence. This guy is a beast, and it really shows. It is very, very awesome, and I'm really glad that I went ahead and bought this on the secondary market. Found a great collector, great experience in selling and trading. You know, sometimes that could be a little bit hairy these days. But I lucked out. I know some people out there, like Jim Mint, I know I want to give him a shout out. Obviously, you know, there has been scammers with this particular piece, and I don't know why, but I lucked out, thank God. And so anyway, I want to do a full review today for you guys. I'm going to give you measurements, close-ups, and just my thoughts on this incredible piece from Prime One Studio. And I also want to thank everybody that took the time to join me for the live unboxing. I will put the link up above. So without further ado, let's review the Azrael 1/3 scale Knightfall Batman from Prime One Studio. Let's do it. Alright guys, let's go ahead and look at some close-ups here. Obviously this is the first portrait right here. This is the long ear portrait, kind of reminiscent a little bit of Kelly Jones. You notice the great, really great shininess there. It's kind of almost like this blue foil technique. It's very, very nice. Of course, those red beady eyes, and of course this great gold collar on him. A lot of great details. You can see the skin, you know, the pulling through, which is great. Just a lot of great detail. In contrast to this one, you have, which I think is my favorite of the two, is the short-eared look. So I do want to kind of show you those side by side so you can see. I mean, they're very, very similar. This one though looks straight, whereas this one kind of looks down, which I actually like. I think it looks a little bit more animalistic, but very, very similar in, you know, with what you're getting. Obviously, again, you're just getting the short ears versus the long ears. Okay, so let me show you the exclusive portrait next. Alright, so here is the exclusive portrait. Obviously it is definitely a more mechanical look. It is more armored, kind of almost a little bit steampunk. You notice that the collar is a gray color instead of that gold, which the other ones had. It still has that great red effect. Some nice, again, that really nice kind of silverish blue. You do have the great armor protecting his spine. Just looks awesome, right? Again, this is the EX right here, and then let me bring in one of the EX claws so you can see that detail. The EX claws, now this does come, I believe, with the regular as well, that you get the shorter claws. So obviously, again, they're meant to go together. This is that final form, but that looks really good. Obviously, you can see the great detail. And then in contrast to that, you have the detail of the longer claws, which are right here. Kind of like a Freddy Krueger-esque look, in my opinion. I think that is definitely an inspiration, you know, coming out in the 80s. So, very, very cool. And you get that blue with the nice silver look. So, those are just a couple of examples of the close-ups. But let's go ahead now and get into the full review. Alright guys, so here we go, and just look at this thing. It is absolutely a beast of a statue. It is massive, it is impressive, and there's so much to talk about with this one. Of course, I wanted to start with the base. The base here is very unique in the fact that it's got the main focal point on the sides. That's something that you don't always see with Prime 1 pieces. Obviously, this is going to be very reflective of other pieces that Prime 1 has done in terms of that gray, that old weathering look. But there's a lot of nice touches. You see like the skull in here, which is great. You also have the skulls on all four corners. You know, kind of this very creepy looking skull. You know, very, very awesome. You do have kind of this black base on the bottom, kind of frame it all in. But as we go around, you're going to see some nice details. Obviously, it's got this like this little pillar effect here. This is actually on the side, but again, it looks great. It's got all the stairs and steps. Again, that's that great skull element. So a lot of skulls throughout, which is neat. But then really, again, this is one of the cool focal points here, is this amazing gargoyle, and it's almost kind of like this bird-like unicorn, dragon, I don't know what it is. It's very different compared to the other gargoyles that I've had from Prime 1. Obviously, you have this great wing effect here, which is great. You can see the detail there. Very nice texturing. Obviously, it keys in right here on both sides, which looks great. And the wings, of course, coming down look very good as well, and it's got the little talons on the end. But again, that's just kind of the side of it. You know, if you look at it dead on, you know, it's just something different. I like the way that they did that, although it does take up a little bit more width for sure. But then as we actually start going up the statue itself, let's look at some of these details here. Obviously, I do have a light shining on this, so keep that in mind, but I did want you guys to be able to see the details. Obviously, you have kind of some claws in his boots, which look really cool. I love that, and obviously it is fully sculpted, other than the cape. But you can really see that great detail, obviously, on his legs. All of these do key in. This is a PVC material here, but they're all color-coded and they're all magnetized. So like there's a light blue, and they all just keyed in really nice. And so I like the fact that it's PVC, because then I feel like it just, you know, less chance of it breaking, which is always great. I always appreciate when companies take that into consideration. The other foot sits up here. It does key in both feet. So really strong. You can see the great detail. It's almost kind of like a leather material looking, very nice. And then that starts going up into some texture. Some of that great light blue color, which is really great. And obviously there's some great texture there as well. Let's move over to the other leg, because obviously we have those pouches. That's where that starts, which is very, very cool. Again, great detail as we go up. You're not going to notice the cape. The cape itself is flexible. It has that wire in it. So, you know, I can show you the back side here. Again, you can pose it however you want, which is nice. You know, it's nice. It's got that bright, brilliant blue, whereas the inside of the cape, if you guys watched the live unboxing, you guys saw that I put it on backwards. But it should be the dark interior, kind of a satin look, a dark satin on the interior. Looks really great. Very, very nice. All right, let me stand up here so I get a little bit better angle here on some of the other details here. Obviously, again, you have that great blue. You have the pleating, that pulling of fabric, even though it is fully sculpted here, other than the cape. You have some of these brass rings. Again, it's all sculpted. It kind of reminds me of the Batman Noel a little bit. Obviously, you have the cod piece. It's kind of a bluish color as well, but then that goes into some of his chest armor. This, again, reminds me a lot of the Noel. The way it was sculpted, it's got that really great gray, and then of course the pouches, even more detail, even more weathering here. Again, all sculpted really nicely. Some people haven't figured out like why doesn't it join? That's just the way it is. It is what it is. So you know, it's just an interesting design, interesting take. I'm looking at the hands here. Look at these hands. Very, very neat, very impressive. It's again kind of Freddy Krueger-like, the way I describe it. It's got the great gauntlets as well. You can see the weathering on that, the great blue and kind of this goldish yellow. Looks really awesome. And of course, if we come over to the other hand, you're going to see the same look, the same effect. It just looks really nice. Let me spin this around a little bit for you guys so you can see some of those details up close. Just a lot going on. It looks really good. Again, it's a nice pop of color in a collection where if you're a Batman collector, you don't always have very much color. You can see the shoulder detail there. I mean, look at that. It's really cool. And that, of course, goes into this giant, you know, padding here. Basically, it's part of its armor, but it's you know, it's pretty crazy. But this is what joins the cape to the actual figure. There's 2 keys in on both sides, which look great. And then, of course, you know, it's got that great blue color again with some nice detail, some nice weathering, as you guys can see. That, of course, goes into the other shoulder. There are no swap outs other than the heads and the hands on this. So again, this is kind of that first look of kind of how he first looked in the comics. Of course, Batman Knightfall. Here is the portrait. I really like this portrait a lot. It's got the red eyes. His head is a little bit shinier than the rest of him. It kind of this blue kind of matches some of the blue shininess on some of the armor parts. So it all ties in together really nicely. He's kind of looking down a bit. Let me zoom back here just a little bit so you guys can see kind of the whole statue. What he looks like with that particular portrait. I think it looks really good. And let me spin him around so you guys can see kind of the backside with the cape. There are 2 magnets here and also here that help keep that cape up into position. Again, these shoulder pads go right in, key in, and then again you can, you know, pose the cape however you want. You know, this is pretty much out of the box, and I kind of like the way it looks. I you know, messed with the fronts a little bit to make it look kind of like it was flowing in the wind, but I think that works pretty well, actually. Let me take this particular portrait off, and I'm going to show you the longer ear portrait, kind of the Kelly Jones-ish portrait. This one obviously is not looking down, so it's more looking out. And I think this looks good. I still feel like I prefer the shorter ear look. But let me, again, zoom out so you guys can see kind of, again, that was kind of the angle that we were looking at before. Whereas this one, it makes him, you know, kind of look, if you square him up, it just gives you a different look on him. Again, I just prefer the shorter ear, but looks pretty badass right there, don't you think? It looks very cool. Sean Paul. And let's put that other portrait back in again. I just feel like it looks a little creepier, a little bit more nocturnal, I guess. I don't know. Just looks awesome. Again, those claws, they're just so well done. Again, just so much detail on them, which is awesome. That's silver and blue. Again, the silver ties in to not only here, but then of course you have some silver there. So there's a lot of nice areas of paint that just really work together, in my opinion. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to give you guys a look with the final form of him, basically, where he's fully armored up, the short claws and the armored portrait. Let me show you what that looks like. So here is that portrait I was talking about. This is the exclusive. And I lied. I was going to go ahead and swap out the whole final form, but I did want to show you what it looked like with the longer claws also. So this is what it looks like. Again, I really like this look. I think it's really cool with that armor. I don't know for sure if this is my favorite or second favorite compared to the other short hair or short ear version. No hair on this one, guys. So anyway, I think that looks really awesome. But then let me go ahead, and what I'll do is I will swap out the long blades. See if I can do this one-handed. It's a really nice strong magnet there. And we put them in with the shorter blades. So I'll do the same thing over here. Put the short blades in. Again, everything fit in really nice and smooth. And let me come back here so you guys can see the difference. So again, it's cool with the short claws. I think it looks good also. I just think I prefer the longer claws. I think it looks a little bit more animalistic, but really cool, right? This looks awesome. Prime 1 did a really good job on this one. Love the paint applications. Just a really cool looking statue. And again, I like the pose. It's just very neat. Sort of Captain Morgan-y, but something different for sure. And again, it's just a massive looking piece in the collection. Really cool. Okay, let me give you guys some measurements like we always do, and we will go from there. But man, such a cool statue. As you can see standing right beside me, it is a massive piece. It is a large piece. But of course, I do want to give you guys some measurements here. Now, when we're talking about the actual width here, from the corner to the tip of this gargoyle's beak, it is approximately 24 inches wide. Pretty wide, but it's certainly not the widest statue I've ever seen, but it definitely is going to take up a little bit of room. When we're talking about depth, we're talking about corner to corner, and that is approximately, I'm going to say, about 18 and a half inches, 18 and a half to 19 inches deep. So again, you are going to need a little bit of space. I'm going to measure that one more time just to double check. Yeah, I'm going to say 18. I'm going to say 18 inches. You know, it's pretty square, so I think you're not going to have too much trouble with depth there, but, you know, if you have a small shelf, it's definitely not going to fit. In terms of height, and we're looking at to the top of there, yeah, I want to make sure I don't have, because I have it on a turntable for you guys. Yeah, 35 inches tall. 35 inches tall to the tip of this shoulder blade here, this shoulder pad. So it is a sizable statue, if you guys can see again. It is going to take up some room. Again, it is third scale, and I know not third scale is not for everybody, but man, this guy, he is a beast. So there you guys have it. What do you think of Azrael? I think he is incredible. Of course, I did own the Arkham Knight Azrael, and I do think this one blows that one out of the water. I just think it's awesome. It's very, you know, comic booky, which is awesome. It's taken from that incredible, iconic story where Batman, he gets his back broken. It's just absolutely incredible. And of course, you know, maybe pairing this up with my Bane would be incredible. It's just an iconic character from an iconic time in Batman's history. Of course, the Knightfall series, absolutely incredible. I am trying to track down the very first omnibus. If you guys have volume 1 and want to sell me it, hit me up, thebatmanstatuecollector@gmail.com. I'm looking for volume 1 right now to add to the collection. But just from top to bottom, I'm very impressed. Again, it was a piece that I was not expecting to own, but I'm really glad that I have it in hand. Can't wait to see it with the rest of my collection. Very, very awesome. So anyway, I do want to turn it over to you. What do you guys think of it? Is it something that you're going to try to hunt down as well? I know a lot of people have said, hey Chris, I'm looking for this. It's hard to find, guys. People obviously do not want to part with this. It didn't have a very big ES, which is great. And I got a really great low number on this one. So anyway, I am just very impressed. I like all the heads, especially the short ear version, which I showed you. But from top to bottom, it's just a really badass piece, and I'm really glad I went ahead and bit the bullet and added this one to the collection. So anyway, I do want to turn it over to you. What do you guys think of this? Do you own it? And what do you think of it if you do? So anyway, thank you guys so very much for checking out the video today. If you are new to the channel, please make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, click that notification bell, make sure you choose all. That way you don't miss any of the content. And of course, if you want to take it one step further, consider hitting the join button down below for early access. Check out our t-shirts down below and our Patreon page and all that good stuff. Helps the channel grow. Thank you guys so very much. I really appreciate you all. We're on a road now to 40K, so we're going to get there. Of course, I'll be doing a giveaway at that point, so can't wait to do that. So thank you guys so very much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you're good to one another out there, and I'll see you soon right here in the Batcave. Bye, everybody. Hey guys, thank you so very much for watching today, and if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button right here on the screen and check out these 2 awesome videos. I think you're going to love them. And also please join us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I would love to have you join in all the fun. Thank you guys so very much for watching. See you in the Batcave.